Hi, you are watching Sintok News. I'm Faratika Ismail, News Malaysia headlines. Movement Control Order MCO 2.0 in Johor Bahru. And pandemic also give an impact to industrial training students. We begin in the headline story. Government did not expect the similar impact of the second quarters of 2020 will be experienced on this time of Movement Control Order MCO enforcement.
Kerajaan tidak menjangkakan impak yang sama seperti suku kedua 2020 akan dialami dengan pelaksanaan PKP pada kali ini.
Escalation on the number of COVID-19 cases had become the most concern for local community. Movement Control Order MCO had to be implemented. Everyday positive cases worsened intensely. New cluster of COVID-19 virus increased rapidly, involved a workplace and a close contact. So far, on 15 January 2021, 635 clusters had been recorded. 351 clusters had been terminated, and the balance of 200 activated clusters still under surveillance from Ministry of Health of Malaysia (KKM). The rising number of COVID-19 cases also affect the local community, especially small business and their employers.
Saya sebagai jurujual bekerja di kedai kasut. Dulu pendapatan mungkin semenjak ada COVID ni pendapatan kita kuranglah, perbezaan sangat jauh. Kalau dulu kedai buka seperti biasa, orang pun macam customer okeylah, kita tak ada apa orang kata tak menjejaskan apa semua. Tapi bila ada COVID ni terhadlah macam pendapatan, bila pendapatan tu kurang, pembelajaran kita pun macam terhad.
As a prevention, all movement had to be with SOP compliance that had been set by the government.
The presence of the pandemic COVID-19, which not only affect the world economy sector but also the education sector. As the result, education has changed dramatically with the distinctive rise of e-learning, whereby teaching is undertaken remotely and on digital platforms. Referring to these two areas, not only employers and employees face the challenge of pandemic, but it has also had an impact on students undergoing industrial training. Students also find it difficult to find a place to conduct industrial training. Some of it did not receive any response from the company applied for, not least those who receive but then cancel at the last minute, causing them to be stunned to find a new place in a short time.
Berikutan perintah tersebut, kami pelatih-pelatih industri di Bernama telah diberi arahan untuk bekerja daripada rumah, BDR ataupun bekerja daripada pejabat tetapi menggunakan sistem jadual penggiliran. Jadi pada pendapat saya lah, situasi tersebut memang memberi tamparan yang hebat kepada kami sebagai pelatih industri kerana tidak dapat menjalani latihan industri secara terus-menerus daripada pejabat. Kami terpaksa bekerja daripada rumah dengan mendapat tugasan daripada penyelaras kami di organisasi untuk melakukan tugasan secara atas talian. Jadi memang situasi tersebut agak sukar untuk kami, situasi yang agak mencabar. Sebagai contoh, kami bermula sahaja daripada talian lapor diri terpaksa ditunda sebanyak 2 kali kerana pelaksanaan perintah kuala pergerakan. Jadi di situ saja sudah menampakkan yang bahawa pandemik COVID-19 ni memang memberi impak yang sangat besar kepada kami. Kami dapat mengasah lagi kreativiti kami sebagai pelatih industri untuk menghadapi cabaran bekerja daripada rumah. Kami juga dapat mengasah bakat komunikasi kami untuk berkomunikasi dengan petugas-petugas di Bernama secara penjarakan sosial, iaitu 1 meter di antara satu sama lain. So di situ kami memang terpaksa menggunakan skill komunikasi yang kuatlah untuk mengelakkan sebarang kesalahfahaman antara kami.
Various new challenges exist in this era of pandemics that demand all parties to implement some new norms. The implementation of industrial training with new norms and the practice of 3C, which is to avoid being in confined space, stay away from crowded place, and as well as avoid close conversation need to be understood and practiced comprehensively. Recently, Kampung Bahanu Jerantut Pahang has experienced major floods after 7 years since major floods that occurred in 2014.
The volunteer of Kampung Baru has helped flood victims move to safer place when the water at that time was only at ankle level. Residents in Kampung Baru has been cut off to the city for 3 days.
Kejadian banjir baru-baru ini di Kampung Baru telah menyebabkan hampir 13 buah keluarga yang terlibat dalam keadaan banjir. Saya sebagai sukarelawan di Kampung Baru mengambil risiko untuk menyelamatkan masa-masa banjir, menolong mereka pindah barang apa semua. Sebagai sukarelawan, kami membantu daripada segi duduk penempatan dan daripada NGO pun menyediakan tempat untuk masa banjir tersebut. Kerosakan dan kerugian yang dialami masa banjir di Kampung Baru baru ini ada yang rumah dimasuki air, ada yang barang-barang yang tak sempat dialihkan.
All the flood victims involved at that time were placed at SK Kampung Baru temporarily to wait for the floods to recede. The water level at that time was at waist level, about 4 feet deep. Residents in Kampung Baru are very relieved and grateful for the volunteers who are willing to take the risks to help those in need.
Every food must have their own fun, right? Same as with pisang cheese. Pisang cheese from Royal Pisang Cheese is very popular in Macang, Kelantan. Their pisang cheese have its own charm because it have differences in terms of taste and presentation of the menu itself.
Nama saya Oni. Saya sebagai pekerja senior. Jadi kedai ni Royal Pisang Cheese ni buka dalam dekat 5 tahun lebih dah lah.
Pisang that will cook in butter and fried with crispy already sounds so delicious. Coupled with a sauce of choice such as chocolate and cooked with a special made cheese and finished with a variety of topping above as a complement to the dish will definitely attract the appetite of anyone who sees it. The best and unique thing about Royal Pisang Cheese is the type of cheese that they use. Normally, other stalls that selling pisang cheese too only using grated cheese, but in Royal Pisang Cheese, they were only using special cheese that they import from the overseas.
Mengenai cheese dia lah. Cheese dia pun kayak dari sini lah, dia ekspor luar negara. Jadi dia payah lah, memang tak ada sini lah cheese dia tu. Jadi sehari sini cheese tu dah.
However, this business also faced difficult during the COVID-19 pandemic that hit the country. The business run by the young woman, also from Macang, Kelantan, had to close her shop when the Movement Control Order (MCO) was announced. When the MCO announcement was made, their sale fell sharply.
PKP ni memang slow lah sikit. Lepas pada boleh letak negeri ke apa kan. Jadi ramai lah. Jadi memang slow lah. Kalau orang tak boleh bagi beli kan, apa bayar ke apa.
After they were allowed to reopen their business, roadblocks were no longer done and the people were free to move. Their businesses returned to the normals.